James, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Pleasure to be with you.
So the effects of Morocco's on and off the pitch World Cup performance are likely to ripple long after players and fans have gone home.
Indeed. So Morocco obviously performed phenomenally well and has earned a lot of credit for that, a lot of empathy and a lot of support. But I think that you're going to see that is really a fleeting moment. Already the cracks below the surface are starting to emerge. For example, one of the things that very few people recognized was that in the celebrations after the game against Spain, the Moroccan goalkeeper wore around his waist the tricolors of the Amazigh, or Berbers. Berbers account for 40% of the Moroccan population. They're not Arab, and they don't want to be classified as Arabs. So that raises all kinds of questions about the identity of Morocco and how that identity is being projected.
Qatar needles the UAE despite the UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed's fence-mending visit to the Gulf state?
Indeed. It's another one of those subtle below-the-surface issues that's emerging from the Qatar World Cup. So what you saw in Qatar was certainly permission, if not projection, of support for the Palestinian issue. And that support among fans was genuine. There is no question about it. But what it also was, at a moment at which the Emirati president, for the first time in 18 months since or almost 2 years actually, since the boycott of Qatar by the UAE and Saudi Arabia was lifted, visited Qatar. At that very moment, what the Qataris were saying with these pro-Palestinian expressions, as well as the refusal of many fans, rightfully so, or understandably so, to deal with Israelis attending the World Cup, that there was a gap between what regimes, and regimes being in this case the UAE's regime, and what public opinion was.
Now, Saudi Arabia has warned that all bets are off if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, as the Chinese president gives a nod to the kingdom's concerns.
Indeed. So the Saudi foreign minister has this week said that all bets would be off if Iran acquired a nuclear weapon. Keep in mind that the efforts, the talks to revive the 2015 international agreement that curbed Iran's nuclear program have so far failed and may very well be dead. At the same time, you had the Chinese president visit the Gulf and Saudi Arabia this week, where he met with Gulf leaders and Arab leaders. And he was seen there to be tilting towards the Saudi position on Iran when he joined in a statement that called on Iran to develop a peaceful nuclear program and not to destabilize the region. In fact, what I think the Saudis were doing was they were interpreting that statement in a very particular way, because it did not constitute a renewed or a change in the Chinese position. What it did constitute, of course, is an expression of Chinese concern that has long been there.
Now, a Turkish court has sentenced Istanbul's mayor to prison, potentially eliminating one of President Erdogan's major challenges in next year's elections.
Indeed. 2023 is a historic year in Turkey. It is the centennial on which the modern Turkish Republic was carved out of the ruins of the Ottoman Empire. It's also a year of presidential elections. And it's clear that Recep Tayyip Erdogan is worried about whether or not he will succeed in in next year's election. His performance ratings are way down, and one of his foremost potential challengers is the mayor of Istanbul. He has now been sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for insulting officials by calling them fools during the last election campaign. He's not going to jail immediately. He has the right to appeal, but there may be something that Recep Tayyip Erdogan will think about in the coming month, and that is that when he was mayor of Istanbul in 1993, he went to jail for a poem that he recited, and that's what boosted his popularity.
All right, James, as always, thank you so much for your time and for giving us a report on the region.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Have a great week.
All the best.
Listeners are reminded you can go to the website www.jamesmdorsey.net to read James's latest article.